What happened?
Nothing. What's up, riders? Kevin Wilson with the BMX Podcast. Thank you very much for coming by. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing to my channel and Danny's channel. And today we have Jason Chang back on the podcast. This is his third race, or the main. This is your third race, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jason, the last time Jason came on the podcast, he was actually part of the very first BMX trivia game, the one that I facilitated before Danny joined me. And that trivia episode did not get a lot of positive feedback. So anyways, Jason won. Jason beat Joe Tippett in that trivia contest. So I thought I'd have Jason come back on. We're going to go over one of Danny's magazines. As we all know, Jason was on Mongoose, Blue Max, that type of thing. So he has a wealth of knowledge. Huh?
That's awesome. I'm just impressed.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, Jason has a wealth of knowledge that he can share with us in regards to going through the BMX magazine. And then after that, we are going to go into a trivia challenge. Now, this trivia challenge is a little bit different this time. We are going to do BMX trivia, and then the bonus questions are going to be pop culture questions. Is that right, Danny?
I actually have some. I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this we're gonna expand the podcast a little bit. We're gonna maybe get some different people watching if we talk about pop culture. So that's what we're gonna do from there. Then after that, we're going to talk about these e-bikes, these motocross e-bikes that have been flying around lately, and how I'm jealous of the kids nowadays, because if they were around when, I don't know about you, Jason, but if they were around when I was a kid, dude, I would have been getting arrested every other day probably. So we're going to talk about the e-bikes, and then we're going to say goodbye to Jason. And then Danny and I will close up the show and thank everybody for stopping by. So with that, Jason Chang, thank you very much for coming by. Thank you very much, Danny, for joining me as usual, my co-host, and from Danny Pena BMX Racing. He has his own YouTube channel, so don't forget to check that out. And I will leave links, and we'll talk about that later on the show. That being said, a couple months ago, I told the story before where we had Mike Miranda on the podcast, and he mentioned that Jesse James raced BMX for Bandito back in the day, and I was pretty shocked. Danny was shocked as well. And since that time, I've kind of had like a mental list that I've been going through, adding people that actually were confirmed to be racing or at least rode a BMX bike. And I forgot the two people that I've known about the longest. Some of you may have watched my former episode with Phil Latham. Phil started his own BMX sanctioning body called the BRA, the Bicycle Racing Association in Burbank, California. And he told me the story when I interviewed him of how Ron Howard and his brother Clint Howard used to show up at his track and race. And he told me a story about how he used to charge 50 cents per race, and that he would give out like tires and tubes and grips and stuff like that as prizes rather than trophies. So I thought that was a pretty cool story. And I forgot to mention that Clint and Ron Howard rode bikes, and Clint was in Gentle Bin or Flipper. Do you guys remember?
Don't know.
I think it was Flipper. Do you remember Flipper, Danny?
That's like the Dolphin show, right?
Yeah.
That's before my time, but I remember the reruns.
Okay, yeah, I think Clint was in Flipper. So, anyways, those are the two that I wanted to add to the list, and I think that John Salami actually commented that Lance Armstrong raced BMX, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, did you guys already know this, or was this new information?
I saw a documentary on him on Netflix, and he was talking about the history of the sports that he had participated in, and BMX was in his early stages of the cycling career. He was racing BMX, and then he did swimming, and then it was the triathlon thing, and then eventually just cycling altogether, right? So, but yeah, BMX definitely big.
That's a big thing. That's a bitchin'. Jason, do you have anybody that I've forgotten about that you can add to the list?
Offhand, I can't think of any. I know modern day. Oh gosh, who's that guy that just came back from? He raced in the 80s. He was a little kid. He came back. I think he's from Washington.
Actor, musician, what?
He was the one that he was a performer in the Blue Man Group in Vegas as a drummer.
Oh, wow.
And he races now. And why the name escapes me at the moment is he's gonna kill me. But because I see him in Vegas, like he's riding locals, you know, to practice and stuff.
Nice, dude.
I'll
Nice.
think of it.
Yeah, bring him up later on if it jumps in your brain.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to update everybody on that. Clint Howard, Ron Howard, and now we have Lance Armstrong. My pick is still for D. Snyder being the most famous guy to ever race a BMX bike. That's still I put him over Slash because D. Snyder raced probably in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned that last time.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That I didn't know about at all. I had no idea.
Jason, you don't agree?
No, I do. I was gonna say, isn't that why S&M came out with the cruiser with the what was the name? I think they named it as
What?
Widowmaker?
That was because of D. Snyder?
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Gotta Google.
It makes sense. Like the name matches if it was D, and I swear there was a connection between D. Snyder and S&M.
Dude, see, this is why we do the show, bro. Because I had no idea. And when
I'm not
the first time I talked to Salami, I asked him what the Holmes was named after, and I had no idea that was named after John Holmes.
There's a backstory to it. D. Snyder and S&M, the backstory, the story of the Florida bike shop calling with the customer that was cruiser rider looking for a bike. It turns out that rider was D. Snyder. So yeah, so I guess he was involved with S&M one way or another. I'll have to read about him more because I feel like I'm under pressure right now. But yeah, he was definitely involved.
Dude, man, see, this is why I love doing this, man. I never would have known any of this, dude. So cool, thanks, Jason. I'm glad I asked you. I'm glad I asked you to contribute. Okay, well, with that being said, we'll go into the second moto, and the second moto consists of the magazine. Danny, what year, what month we got going on this time?
You know, I went further back because I usually do kind of mid 80s up. And I found one from 1981.
Nice.
So I'm gonna. Some of the questions I have in the for the trivia is in there, but I'm gonna just look at some basic things I was gonna show you guys because when I opened up this magazine, I was like, in 1981 I hadn't started racing yet. So when I look at this stuff, I mean, it was like the first time. You have to imagine the first time you opened a BMX magazine. And it would have been around this time frame for me, 1980, 1981. There's no cover. Sorry, Jason. But when you open up the inside cover, you notice, and we talked about OP clothes, and they were advertised in the inside cover of the magazine. And I remember Ocean Pacific wear. The one thing specific that always stands out is how small the shorts were. I never wore those, but you guys ever wear those?
And we talked about this, dude, and I got a lot of flack from my family for saying that my balls were hanging out, dude. Do you remember that?
That's right. I don't know, Jason. Did you ever rock?
My wife was so pissed off at me. She's like, "I can't believe you said that on your podcast." But yeah. Did you wear OP shorts, Jason?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Hawaii, beach life, everything that kind of goes together.
Right, man. Yeah. So, but OP was cool, but Lightning Bolt was cooler.
Oh, was it really?
Oh, in my area, dude, OP was good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt was, and then Hang 10 was like the entry level.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, Hang 10. No one. If you wore Hang 10, you were like, dude, I don't know about that.
You know what's funny is that I'm such a poser because I wore all these surfer T-shirts in high school. Yeah. I could barely swim, let alone surf. And I wore those all the time, man. It was like part of my lineup was all these different OP shirts and stuff. I had a ton of them. Look at this ad from JT Racing from 1981. Yep. Look at that. Very, very retro. the colors. What I try to pay attention to a lot when I'm looking at older magazines is you can kind of see the trends. If you look at the models, the hair, the big hair, and the way the clothes fit and so forth. I'm going to say, though, man, there's something about JT racing pants that I think the fit on those pants was perfect. Look at that. They're very fitted. They weren't baggy and loose. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when we went from the 80s, the uniforms were kind of fitted and they looked nice. Then as we got into the 90s, they were kind of baggier. And like AXO, Answer, they were all making kind of a baggier looking uniform. And now we've circled all the way back, because if you look at the stuff now, they're in the skin tight stuff now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. You're not a fan of that.
That's why I like talking to you, Danny. I never would have noticed any of this. I would have been like, it just doesn't register with me.
So to go back to that effect, Jason, so since you've raced factory Mongoose, factory Blue Max, so this kind of thing is something like Kevin and I could only like dream about, like, oh, factory Mongoose. Like I have nothing to compare that to, at all. So with that being said, you got a lot of gear back when you were racing for Blue Max and Mongoose. What did you favor when you were back then? What was like your favorite stuff to wear, brand, so forth?
Well, the last years on Mongoose, we switched to JT.
Okay.
And by far, JT up until the mid 80s was probably still considered the premium pants.
Okay.
And just in quality and like the other pants all looked good from the outside, but some didn't have lining, some didn't have sewn in. JT's had lining, they had pads sewn in the shins and everything. So it was just overall like a way better quality pants.
Hey,
can
you guys hear my neighbor, kids? Hold on.
Are you talking about your house, Kevin?
Yeah, I got my window open. Okay.
Oh, okay. But I was going to say, though, was there a difference in quality in terms of the gear you received from Blue Max and Mongoose, or were they pretty much the same?
Well, as a company, because Blue Max and Mongoose is the same actual company.
Okay.
So at first was the earlier years. So Blue Max and Mongoose, we both had some kind of generically made pants with no name on it.
Okay.
I don't know where they got them from. Might have been like Taiwan or something. And those were like okay.
Yeah.
But dramatically better when we went to JT.
Yeah, I can imagine. So you figure, Blue Max is kind of like Auburn Powerlight is to GT. Like it's all under one umbrella. How later on in the 90s, it was the firm. So you had GT, Powerlight, Auburn, they were all under one umbrella. Okay, I got you.
Kind
all
of.
right.
We weren't marketed. Blue Max was a Mongoose marketed to military bases around the world. And that was done so that the military base could sell a BMX bike, but not upset local dealers.
Wow. Really?
So, Blue Max is more worldwide known back then, and Mongoose was the USA, big name.
Wow. So would you say that as a collector, I'm not a collector per se, like Kevin's more of a collector than I am, would there be more value in the Blue Max because it wasn't as mass produced as the Mongoose, even though it's the same bike?
I don't want to cross.
I mean, not so much in, like, to be honest, not in like any kind of high-end trick quality kind of thing. More like if it's those guys that wanted that same bike they had when they were a kid. Hundreds of thousands of American families were all over the world. That was the BMX bike they could get.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Because I remember you being on it, Brian Gass, Darwin Griffin. I remember these guys on Blue Max.
Yeah.
So really cool. Really cool. Okay, check this out, guys. I have a cool horror ad from 1981. What do you guys think of that?
Never liked Kuhara, dude.
Dude, honestly, Kevin, look at the components, though, man.
Is that like a lightning bolt seat? I hate those too.
Oh my God! Right now, I just want to hang up on you.
I didn't like lightning bolts either.
You guys didn't like the lightning bolt look? Not at all?
I just thought it looked a little too cartoony.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I put the lightning bolt in the same category as colored tires, dude. Like, come on, man.
Okay, now I'm going to give you guys a reference on lightning bolts and tell me if this doesn't change your mind. Now, I want you to picture Billy Griggs' Echo helmet, right?
Yeah.
He's on factory red line. It's a black helmet with red lightning bolts coming right up here. That looked
cool.
badass.
That's
You didn't think that looked good?
Oh, that's cool. I'm down with
All
that.
right. I knew. How about you, Jason? Did I sway you?
Yeah, well, I liked it on the helmet because
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't it's different. I don't know, something about the seat. What? Maybe it's just the way it was drawn.
Maybe. I did one thing that I copied a Factory Pro on. Okay, so you guys see where the sticker is for the lightning bolt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Harry Larry had an Oakley sticker in that same position, and I copied that because I thought it looked so cool, man. I was so influenced by the pros and the magazines. I'm like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put the Oakley sticker right there. I copied that. And another thing I copied is, if you guys look at the seat post for a second, back in the day, Greg Hill was on Factory GT, and he put 2 GT stickers right above each other on the seat post. I copied that too because I thought that looked so trick. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that. I don't know, Kevin, did you do anything like that where you were influenced by the post?
I don't remember copying anybody, dude.
Really?
Other than like, I try to emulate Trash Can Morgan when I jump, but other than that, I didn't really copy anybody bicycle design or nothing like that.
What about you, Jason? Did you do any copycats like that?
I probably did, but probably more for things like performance than looks.
Yeah.
Not because at that point, I wasn't too much like trying to be like somebody else. I was trying to be me, and hopefully I'm the influence.
Yeah.
But maybe the only thing I did that was early on before other people did it was I took my brakes off of the chain seat stays.
Okay.
Put them down on the chain stays, so the whole top of my bike looked real clean, and then the brakes were hidden behind the sprocket, and my cable through my seat post and then into the brakes. And I just thought it was different, and maybe people will look at my bike and think, "Oh, that's cool and trick."
So you had the factory re-weld your brake posts onto the chainstay, or was this a brake bridge?
Brake bridge, yeah. There was no. This is before any of those brakes came out with the.
So you had to have a brake bridge welded onto your chainstay.
It was already there. I just had to drill.
It was already there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, in 1989, Diamondback released something called the Diamondback Reactor, and they did exactly that. They moved the brake from the top to the bottom on the Diamondback Reactor, and I thought that looked super trick. I'm like, whoa, that's totally different. You know, and that's maybe you started that. You didn't even know it.
Well, Jason, I look up to you, man. So there you go.
There you go, man. I have this is a great ad from Race Incorporated. I wanted to show you guys this one. Look at that. How awesome is that? Yeah. Now the thing that would trip me out is if somebody had that original box like that. And if you guys had that, let's say you had the frame and forks bars in the box, would you assemble it or leave it in the box?
I'll leave it the way it is. I'll leave it in the box, but not because I think it's that bitch, and it's just that I wouldn't want to build a Race Incorporated. I never really liked them that much.
Kevin, well, you always say the controversial thing, dude. Well, you know there's something comparable to this, and I'm going to tell you guys. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Planet BMX released a gold-plated Skyway TA in the box. And I was wondering to myself, I wonder if people are going to assemble that, $1,000 frame. Are you going to put it together, or are you going to leave it in the collector box?
Well, Race Incorporated did the same thing like 10 years ago, right, Jason?
I think, yeah. And
Race Incorporated. Okay, here's my question about Race Incorporated.
Okay.
Maybe you guys out there in BMX land can answer this question. Is the correct name for the company Race Inc. or Race Incorporated? I've always wondered that. I've never ever said I have a Race Inc. frame or I like Race Inc. stuff. I've always said Race Incorporated, but on other podcasts, I've heard people say they always say Race Inc., Race Inc., Race Inc. Do you have anybody have an opinion on that?
I'm gonna tell you right now, Kevin. In the '80s, I never said Race Inc. It was like, oh, you're on a Race Incorporated. Never said Race Inc. It was only until recently that now I've noticed people are saying Race Inc. on the big 29ers and all that, and I'm like, when did they start calling it Race Inc.? It says Race Inc., but I just said Race Incorporated.
Right. Do you have an opinion, Jason? What do you think?
I think a lot of names got shortened over time. Maybe just people being lazy talking, and that's where things got shortened. Because after a while, nobody said mongoose. Everybody just said goose.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's a good example. Good example.
Now, let me say one more thing, because the 80s Race Incorporated, I never really liked them, but the new Race Incorporated, I liked the one that I think that they were raced at Dirty Fest last year. I liked those, but it turns out that those are going away now too, right?
You can still get a set at Planet BMX. They have several of them.
I like them.
Yeah. Because I looked at them too. There's like a gold one I had my eye on. I'm like, should I buy that? I was already kind of thinking about that. All right. Hey,
a funny story about that. When I interviewed Holly Dunn, my video froze, but she told me a story about Dirty Fest 1 when she showed up and she was at the Race Incorporated booth or whatever, and she asked if she could borrow one of their bikes, and they said sure. They gave her a cruiser, right? So she gets up on the gate and she's sitting on the gate, and Toby Henderson's up there standing around at the gate, and he gives her a dirty look. Not a dirty look, but he kind of looks at her strange. And she's like, "Why are you looking at me so strange?" It turns out that she was on Toby Henderson's bike on the gate.
Oh.
She's like, "Oh, I was apologizing." He's like, "No, it's no big deal. I was just shocked that you were on my bike. That's all."
That is funny, man.
Anyways,
so this one right here, guys, I love this. This is a sequence drawn out by I gotta say Bob Harrow drew it because it looks like his artwork, but it doesn't say if he drew it or not. But they're talking about the two-pedal race start, the two-pedal gate start, excuse me. And it has an image of Brent Patterson. What do you guys, that's awesome. Look at that.
That was cutting edge in 82 or 81, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we talked a little bit about the two-pedal start before, Kev, and when I first started racing, I didn't know how to balance. So I did the one-pedal start for probably a month before I figured there's no way I'm ever going to win with 1 foot on the pedals, right? And me and Kevin were talking, Jason, one day, and I called it being locked in. And what I figured out is when the gate starts coming up, if I let my tire touch it before it goes flat, it would lock my tire in. And then I'm like, oh, I got it. And then I could balance. That was kind of my crutch until I figured out how to do it.
I practiced before I even got to the track of my start, staying up, balancing.
I didn't even think about it. What about you, Jace?
I panic now because if I'm too far forward when the gate comes up and it does grab my front tire and lock it in, I'm like, uh-oh, what if when it goes down I don't time it right or whatever? Like it scares me to know that your tire is locked to the gate. But imagine I came up before the two-pedal start was invented, so seeing it for the first time and then trying to figure it out because there was no internet. There was nobody to tell you this is what we're doing or how we're doing it. You just saw somebody do it, and now it's like, oh, we got to figure this out.
Wow.
Dude, that's an awesome question. Who was the first person to do a two-pedal start? Oh, boy.
Man.
Debate. We've debated it on the internet for a while, and I don't personally know because I wasn't there. Stanley Robinson gets credit for it, but nobody
I heard that.
can for sure say he was the first. So
Stanley Robinson's a mongoose rider, right? Yeah, Stanley Robinson.
Not the 80s, right?
No, 70s, like
70s.
Danny Robinson, the guy on the Olympic team?
Stanley.
No, Stanley.
Oh, Stanley.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Okay, Stanley Robinson. Okay.
So what I was going to say though, with that being said, Jason, like, when did you realize that you're going to have to stand up on your pedals. How long were you in the sport before you realized that?
Maybe about 1 year, because we would have one national a year in Hawaii, and it was the old NBA, and all the pros and factory guys would come. And so we saw them doing it. And obviously, it didn't matter how good they were. The fact that you came from the mainland to race our race, we just automatically assumed everybody there was doing the newest, most modern, best way.
Right.
Seeing a few guys do it, we're like, oh, that's what we got to do now. And a lot of people, it took a while because some people couldn't figure out just how to balance, so they gave up and went back to the 1 foot start. Other people stuck with it. So it took a little bit before the guys doing it started winning all the time. And now okay, we have to do it now.
You have to do it, yeah. I think I was about, I'd say 2 years into it when I realized how to snap, because I could balance, right? But the gate would drop and I'd just kind of roll out, or I would do too much of a wheelie to try to make it look like I knew what I was doing. But it was probably around 84, 85. I'd start to lean back a little bit, and then I was launching at the gate. And so it was like I realized that I can go, it'd be like riders ready, watch the lights, and I was already going. It takes a lot of nerve to like launch at the gate. But once I got the nerve up to try that, and then the game changed. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I can get out fast, Not like you, Jason, but fast enough. That's really cool.
Am I the only person on this panel that never watched the lights? I've never watched the lights.
I don't look at the lights. Listen to the cadence.
Okay, same with you, Jason? Yeah.
I can do both, but I prefer to listen. But some tracks, they play music or the speaker's not loud enough and you can't hear the cadence. And then I'll switch to watching the lights. But otherwise, I prefer listening.
Yeah.
I got I hurt my back the first time I came back to race in 2012 because I had no knowledge of the random start. Where it goes, yeah. So like when it said, okay, riders, and I just took off and I flipped over and aggravated my sciatica, all that, and I was like I had a Mustang at the time, and I was just laying back in the car going, I'm going to die. I don't know what. That was my first time back, because then I realized, I go, oh, it's muscle memory. And I hadn't raced since 98, but it was muscle memory. Like I knew I had to go. And I wasn't even thinking. All logic got turned off, and I launched. And I was like, oh man, that was a bad move. Okay, have you guys ever heard, I got off subject because I like talking to Jason. Sorry, Kevin. Have you guys ever heard of a Laguna?
Yeah.
What do you know about Laguna? Because I don't know anything about Laguna.
I know Laguna's in Orange County, and it's really expensive.
Yeah.
The bike.
The bikes,
The
Marty.
bikes. No,
Yeah.
I've heard of Laguna. Yeah, I always thought they made like big, ugly, 26-inch clunker cruisers.
They do make cruisers too, but this was what the actual race bike looked like.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, and here's the. Yeah, so that was the actual race.
I put Laguna in the same category as a Bassett. For some reason, mentally, it reminded me of the same.
Yeah, I can see that.
Jason, was there a factory Laguna team? I mean, that's kind of your era, in '81.
If there were, I don't remember any names or seeing a team or even a uniform, so I'm not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
The image, I wasn't traveling and doing nationals or anything at that time. I was still, a local.
You're on your webco, dude.
Yeah, but at that time, Laguna was kind of like seen as like middle range.
Okay.
Like that was like the experts weren't that I knew didn't ride a Laguna.
Yeah, because I had the first time I saw one, I was probably a junior in high school, and this new kid got moved to our high school, and he saw that I had all this BMX gear on, junk, the t-shirts and stuff, and he goes, "Oh, I have a BMX bike. I should come over. We'll go riding." He didn't have any friends. I'm like, "Yeah, come over and come riding." And he showed up in a Laguna. I go, "What the hell is that?" And it had those weird ass. Yes, I don't know if you guys are they Oakley 3s. where they're these big, crazy grips. They look like they would go on like some sort of like, I don't know, shifter handle. You know what I'm talking about, Kevin?
The ugliest grips ever made.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny, dude. Those are the ugliest grips ever made in the history of BMX.
So you know what I'm talking about. Jason, did you ever ride with those at all? Uh-oh. What do you think?
At that time, you know what? Oakley was so cool. It didn't matter what they made. People bought them. And it was new, and we thought, gotta have the newest, coolest thing. Of course, I didn't use them very long. But you wanted to get them, and it's not until you rode it that you went, maybe not.
Yeah, I remember seeing those grips going, what are those, man? They're so wide and fat, and I don't know. Did you ride them, Kevin, at all? Did you experiment with those?
I had a pair briefly, but I never, not for any length of time. I always thought that my first, I think I did one of my first videos I ever made was the worst BMX grip ever made. And it was a toss up between grab on and Oakley 3s, because Oakley 3s were ugly and you couldn't move your hand around, and grab ons lasted 2 days.
That was equivalent to the rad grip.
Oh,
same shit.
Marketing.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you guys, the rad grips and grab-ons, super comfortable and super trick looking for 5 minutes. Yep. Until you start riding around, they start shredding in your hands, you know.
I feel
really
bad. Cool. I shouldn't have said nothing, because I saw a Facebook post from whoever owns grab-on now, and they were saying, did you see this, Jason? Or
no, but that's just funny.
So somebody, whoever runs or owns that copyright or whatever, they put a post on Facebook saying that grab-on's going out of business unless people start buying a lot of grips. And I feel I shouldn't have said nothing. Go back out, everybody go out and buy grab-on grips. I apologize.
Hey, I'll tell you this though, if you're into building show BMX bikes and you put a pair of grab-ons on there, not much is going to look better than that. That's going to look super trick. They're just not
for an early 80s build, not for an 84, 85 build.
Right. What do you guys think of this ad really quick? And it's got Scott Breithaupt in it. What do you guys think of that?
He's the king. Well, with Scott in there, I'm down.
That is badass, huh? What do you think of the wing on the shoulder, man?
Oh. Would you? Yeah, those are bad.
Dude,
I never had one, but I wanted one, man. Those are cool. Those are cool.
I always thought that looked super cool. But if you're gonna wear a wing on your shoulder, you better be fast, dude.
You better be fast. Now, I don't wear them now, no way. But when I was back in 81, absolutely.
That is so funny, man. And then let's see what else we have here.
What bike was he on? Was he on a
quad?
That was a quad angle. Quad angle, yeah. Right. I think quad angles is still one of the most exotic looking race bikes from the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, I love the way quad angle looks. I never owned one. I would see kids riding them, and I don't know how raceable they were because they might have been heavier. I don't know. But they look super trick though.
Yep.
The quad angle is my vote for the prettiest gimmick BMX frame ever made. I put that in like the same categories like a GJS or a slingshot or that type of, like, something that's not the traditional double triangle. The quad angle is by far the prettiest gimmick frame and the best gimmick frame out there. Just a reminder that Perry Kramer preferred riding a quad angle to a PK Ripper.
No.
Yeah.
You know that for a fact?
That's what he said in his interview on Dirty Knobs. He said that he preferred the quad angle.
That's something else. I didn't know about that. Okay, here's something that Jason might recognize. Look at this. Cost Cruiser.
Oh, yeah. Look, Hawaii's on there.
Oh, is it? I didn't even look.
Look at the bottom.
It is. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Did you know this guy? Did you ever meet him?
I met. Okay, funny story. I'm a 13-year-old kid, and all these guys come over. It's I'm in shock, I mean, awe of all these guys. And even the guys not in uniform or whatever walking around, you could tell who was from Hawaii and who came in from the mainland. And I'm talking with this, with some of the team and all that. And, they talk to all the kids. So pretty regular stuff, get some stickers. But then I'm talking to this other guy in a polo shirt and dark glasses. And I don't know who he is, but I asked him, like, I know you're not from here. And I was like, may I ask who you are?
Yeah.
He goes, oh, my name is Skip Hess. I own Mongoose.
Oh.
I am dumbfounded. Like, wow, I got to talk to him. And then fast forward, 1985, I'm sitting in his office with him signing a contract.
Here he is right here. Funny you brought that up.
Yeah, that's the guy I talked to.
Wow, that's awesome. When you brought that name up, I'm like, oh, wait, I saw that in the magazine. That's why I had to thumb back through it really quick. That's really cool. This particular race.
You raced a cruiser, Jason, or was it just 20s?
Later I raced cruiser. For some reason, I just wasn't interested for the longest time. And I probably didn't even jump on one till like 87.
Okay.
It was, for me, racing cruisers was not an easy transition for me. I felt very clumsy on a cruiser. I raced a cruiser for one whole year from 98 to 90, the 98-99 season. I raced a specialized cruiser and just couldn't, I don't know, I couldn't find the sweet spot with it. Like, I did okay on it, but I just never felt as comfortable as I do on a 20-inch. Just couldn't get it. Maybe I just didn't give it enough a try.
Yeah, those bikes squeaked. When you torqued on it, they squeaked.
Oh, yeah?
I probably had about 15 specialized Fat Boys.
Mine had like this weird, I think you and I talked about it, Kevin. It had kind of like this hollow sound to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It looked cool, though. Okay, tell me if you guys recognize this ad. It might piss off Kevin, but.
Redline MX2.
Look at those red lines, man.
It seems vaguely familiar.
That is so cool. I love those old Redline ads, man. Redline's not even a thing anymore, is it, guys? Does anybody even own or operate Redline or?
Yeah. Seattle Bike Supply owns them.
So are they still making entry level bikes or no?
They definitely make race bikes still, I believe. They're owned by Seattle Bike Supply.
Yeah, Redline needs a big time rider, man. They really do. Like if they were, man, what if they put Josh Jolly on there or something? He's like the up and coming guy right now. So they need a big guy on Redline. I
heard that Josh Jolly's very easygoing.
Is he really?
He's a very happy young man.
I saw him this morning. I was thumbing through Facebook. You're a funny dude. Anyway, I saw him on Facebook and he was on a pump track just hauling ass, dude. You gotta look him up, Kevin. Yeah,
I assume it's not spelled Jolly.
Yeah, just like it sounds. Yeah, just like it sounds.
Dude, I wonder if he owns a ranch anywhere.
What's the joke, dude?
Jolly Ranchers, dude.
Jolly Rancher. Man, I'm so done with this dude. I can't even.
No more jokes, dude. No more jokes.
Okay, so in this magazine, you're from Hawaii. There's a Hawaiian writer in here. His name is Rockney Tang.
Yes.
Okay, here's a picture of him right here.
Yeah, look who's behind him.
Who's behind him?
On the Schwinn.
Is that you?
No, Mike
Jackson. Mike Polson.
He's beating Mike Polson.
Yes.
This dude was legit, huh?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah. It says here, some quiet, polite guys came over from Hawaii to race, but when the gate dropped, so did the quiet and politeness. This Hawaiian hombre, Rockney Tang. And he made, I don't have my reading glasses, but it says he made both the 14-15 open main and 15 expert main. Wow. He was the real deal at a national.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's one national a year. Like, just go from your local racing. Let's go to the national. And you only get to go to one a year.
Yeah.
That's how it was for Hawaii guys. We'd save our money and get to go one time and roll dice on one race to see if you could do good.
Was it always on the same island, or did they change islands, Jason?
What's that?
Was it always on the same island, or did they ever change the island?
Well, four different islands all had BMX racing, but Oahu, Honolulu is predominantly where all the better riders came from, more or less, because we were more in contact with California and what was new and what was happening. It took a while to trickle down to the outer islands.
Wow.
The national was always held on Oahu, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys had normal access to all the publications, everything, so you could see what was going on, like BMX Action, BMX Plus, you can get all that stuff?
Yes, but never seeing the real people.
Well, yeah, there you go. What was it like racing locally in Hawaii? Did you have low moto counts? Was there any interest in the sport at all?
Back then, no, it was big. Back then, it was an all-day affair just to race one event, like a Sunday.
Oh.
And we probably had between 300 and 400 riders every race.
Wow.
So pretty good and highly competitive. But our tracks were behind the times. Like
I was waiting for this. Tell them how bad your tracks were, Jason.
Oh, we were in the middle of a stock car dirt oval, so we couldn't build anything. So they literally laid the track out based on just looking. Hey, let's go make the first turn around that big giant tractor tire. We'll come back this way. We'll throw a few car tires here. That'll be the next turn. And so we didn't even ride terms. We're way later. So
wow, really
primitive. We were like the 70s BMX when you guys were in the 80s and like nice tracks, have brooms. Like we didn't have brooms.
Oh my God. So when a national came to Hawaii, because I think there was a national in the 80s in Hawaii, right? There was two of them. So did they just construct a track for that event, or did the track already exist?
No, they same place in the middle of the stock car dirt oval. They would just pile a few dirt piles here and there. That became the jumps. All the turns were flat, no berms, because whatever was there had to be easily knocked down before the next car race.
Holy moly. How did these guys that came in from the mainland perform on a track that's primarily flat turns?
They did pretty good because you figure at that time, even up there was still flat turns, just that it wasn't every turn, maybe one flat corner.
Yeah.
Our whole track was just flat. So it wasn't that hard of a stretch for them. And like I said, they had ridden those kind of tracks, just that your tracks got better and nicer and smoother. And, you know.
Man, that's super interesting, man. I didn't realize all the history on that Hawaii. We have to go over that later, Kevin. With Jason, because there's probably a lot to talk about.
Yeah, the first time I talked to Jason, I asked Jason, I said, dude, when I think about Hawaii, I'm going to try to recreate this, Jason. When I think about Hawaiian tracks, I think about red clay dirt, big sweeping step jumps, going through a tunnel of palm trees and going around in all the green grass. And he goes, dude, there wasn't any of that, dude.
I sent you a video, remember?
Yeah.
That was the best it got. What you saw. That was it.
Yeah. I like watching those guys. I think they're cruising 808 or something like that. They're on YouTube right now. They build all the big bikes. They're in Hawaii, and they're pretty cool. They're pretty mellow guys. You know, I don't know if you've seen them, Kevin. I just like watching them build their bikes, and they're not. I think they were racers from back in the day, and now they just like to cruise on the big bikes.
Okay.
Oh, I found your favorite grips, Kevin. Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
I don't know, dude. I when I saw those grips, I was like, how do you even put your hand around that? Okay.
Jim Gennard was my neighbor.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've told that. That's another. I told a story about real quick. My dad woke me up my brother and I up one Saturday morning. Get up. There's a guy selling motorcycle parts down the street. We got up and we got out of bed and we took our money. We got in my dad's van. We went down. There was a guy in his front yard with 2 tables. He had some grips. He had some goggles, a couple of hats, and a couple T-shirts. And I don't even remember if I knew what Oakley was at the time, but my brother got an Oakley hat, and I got a pair of first-gen goggles, and we both got Oakley ones, but they were motorcycle grips. So my dad had to wrap black tape around one end of my handlebars so the grip wouldn't fall off. Right. But yeah, he lived like 3 blocks from me.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna show you guys one more ad because it's so trick. It's for Haro number plates. This is one of my favorite ads ever because I reviewed this magazine probably 2 years ago. But check this out.
Yeah, awesome.
How trick is that? Man, John Cruz, Brent Patterson. I think that's David Doe, or is that? I don't know for sure. Who's the Skyway rider?
It's not Danny Patterson, so yeah.
Five is Danny.
Oh shoot, I can't. It doesn't say. Was it Madrano maybe?
Danny.
Let me. It is David Dow. Look at that. That is just so cool. That's one of my favorite ads of all time. I just love it. That just screams the 80s. But anyway, Kevin, that's about all I got for this magazine. Unfortunately, there's a lot of pictures missing because this magazine's really beat up. But that was a lot of fun.
Let's hope that it doesn't affect the game too much. But that was very cool. That was very cool. Thanks a lot, Danny.
No problem.
So now we're gonna go into the third moto. The third moto consists of a trivia challenge between myself and Changstar, and we're going, as I already mentioned before, we're gonna ask. Well, actually, I'm gonna let Danny take control, and he will explain the rules and regulations, and he's gonna measure people's bars. Go for it.
All right. So here's what we got. So Jason, I'm gonna give us 3 different categories today. It'll be 1981 because we just did that magazine. 1984, and then I'm going to go all the way to 1987. And so what's going to happen is, yeah, you'll know them. Don't worry, I got a lot. I make them easy. So you'll just pick a year. I'll 81, 84, 87 when it's your turn, and I'll give you the year. And then if you miss it, Kevin can steal it. Now there's a caveat today. We decided to add pop culture questions to the whole thing. So I'm going to give you one race question, and then I'm going to give you, let's assume you get it right, I'll give you the pop reference question on top of that. Unless you want to do the pop reference questions completely separate, what we can do is you can pick a race one or you can pick pop reference. I don't know. How do you want to do that, Kevin?
So, okay, let's say that I missed my first BMX question. Can Jason steal my pop culture?
Well, he'd have to steal your question, so that probably wouldn't work anyway. I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. Rather than you guys picking a year, I'll just pick the question.
Yeah.
I might give you pop reference. I might give you a race one, and then we'll just go from there. All right, that'll make it easy. All right, we'll do it that way.
I love it. I'm keeping track.
All right, I know.
I don't trust you, man.
That time or now?
Oh, the pop reference is all 80s reference questions.
Okay.
Yeah. And trust me, man, we're old. I'm not going to do like, hey, who's I don't even listen to the music for today, so I don't know who's who.
Yeah, what's Taylor Swift's new song called? I wouldn't know.
No idea. Yeah, no idea. All right, so we'll start off since you're the guest, Jason. You go first. So I'm going to give you a question from 1981. Are you ready? We're going to go with the race question. In 1981, Johar of California released what pad set?
You mean like the name of the pad set?
The name of the pad set, yeah.
Johar. Were they Rad Pad?
Ooh, that's interesting because that was the bonus question. What came before this one? So you got to give him 1 point because I was going to ask him what came before this particular pad set. You said Rad Pad. That's 1. But what came after that? Do you know?
Was it Flight?
Oh, no. What do you think, Kevin? Can you steal it?
I want to say California Light.
California Light. So that's the correct answer. So long story short, before there was the California Light, they had Rad Pads. And I'll show you guys right here. This is Johar had a 2-page ad. Here's the Rad Pads, right? And then here are introducing the California Lights. They were right there, yeah. So
Does
that's
that
where
mean
that
you
came
both
from.
got a point?
You both got a point.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I'm going to come to Kevin. Kevin, I'm going to give you our first pop reference question.
This is a trivia. This will be a trivia question 30 years from now.
Yeah, it will be, man.
Okay, go
All
for
right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. According to Back to the Future, what speed does a DeLorean have to hit to achieve time travel?
88.
88 miles an hour. Kevin gets the first. That's the first official pop reference question, and Kevin got it. There is a bonus.
Okay.
How many gigawatts does it take to time travel?
I don't know.
1.21 gigawatts.
Okay.
No one was gonna remember that.
Okay.
All right, so you got that first one, Kevin. So let's see, Kevin, you stole it. It's your question. I'm gonna go to 1984 for you. No. I gave you the pop reference.
No, it's
So
Jason. It's Jason.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, I'm gonna give you pop reference. Let's start with this.
Okay.
All right. Now let's see here. Okay, what popular device did Sony create in the 1980s? What popular music device did Sony create? The Walkman, the Sony Walkman. All right. That's a good one. I mean, we all had Walkmans, right? I mean, I had several of them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, guys ever get back in the 80s, you know, when your AA batteries would start going real low and you're trying to listen to your music and go, whoa.
You take them out and you change them. So
you flip them over.
Yeah.
That would work for a second. All right.
I do that with my TV remote to this day.
Yeah.
I do that too. All right, Kevin, we're going to go back to BMX for a second. 1984. Are you ready?
Yeah.
In 1984, what company offered a stemless handlebar set? Was it GT, Redline, Vector, or Tioga?
Vector.
Oh, I didn't even need to make that multiple choice, but I didn't know if you guys would remember that. So that's a good one. All right, Kev. It's 3-2, Kevin. I'm going to go back to 1984. I'm going to go back.
Wait, was this my question or Jason?
That was yours. You just got it right. So now I'm going to Jason. There's no bonus on that one.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. In 1984, Kuwahara's top-of-the-line race bike was called the Kuwahara Laser Light. What was the price point of this bike? Was it $325, $485, or $395?
84. This is terrible because I rode that bike.
Oh,
and I rode for them. So, I'm gonna go with the $399.
It was $485. Super high-end race bike for Kuwahara Laser Light. So when I looked at that price point, I was like, "Damn, that was an expensive bike, man."
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, for the time, anyways. All right, Kevin, I didn't let you steal it, so that's my bad, dude. I messed up my own rules.
Terrible.
All right, Kevin, I'm gonna go back to pop culture reference. Are you ready? All right. In the late 70s to early 80s, there was a popular sitcom called Three's Company. There were 3 roommates in the house, but total of 5. Can you name all 5 of the roommates that lived in that apartment?
I'm glad that's not my question.
Hey, I remembered them without even looking them up. So,
well, okay, so Jack, Chrissy, Janet, Sandra. I'm already out.
No.
I can't remember. I can't remember the other 2.
Okay, nobody ever remembers the other 2. What do you think, Jason? Do you know?
I think one of them was Chrissy's sister, so it was something like Noelle.
No, you guys are killing me. Okay, are you ready for the answer?
Yeah.
All right. So the original roommates were Chrissy, Janet, and Jack. After Chrissy left the show, then it was Cindy, and then Cindy left, then it was Terry. So those were your 5 roommates. Oh man, maybe I watched too much TV, guys. I remember that.
That was a legitimate question.
Yeah. All right. So we're moving back into BMX. We're going to go to 1981. This is now Jason's question, right? Okay. In 1981, what SE rider appeared in the Z-Rims ad in 1981?
Wasn't that just Scott that we just looked at?
I knew I shouldn't have shown you that picture, dude. You were right. So Scott Breithoff, we just talked about it with the wing on his shoulder. One of the coolest ads ever. So that was a winner for you. Okay, cool. All right, it's 3-3. We're going back to Kevin. All right, Kevin, I'm going to go to 87 for you. You ready, Kevin?
Fire when ready.
Okay. In 1987, Eric Roop, Sam Mariano, and Travis Chiprez appeared in a Mongoose ad. They were it was like a Miami Vice. They were standing in front of a black Ferrari, dressed like Miami Vice guys. Now that you kind of image of what the ad looked like, what was the bike that was actually in the ad? Was it the Mongoose Pro Class, the Mongoose California, or the Mongoose Super Goose?
California.
Oh, did you guess?
No,
You got it right, dude. Mongoose California.
Pro Class was 84, 83, right? And then the Super Goose was like 81. So 87 would have been, by process of elimination, would have been California.
Yep.
Very good, Kevin. Kevin's getting better at this game, man.
Hey, I'm now 1-5.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to go back to pop reference, and I'm going to go with Jason on this one.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Rocky 4 from the 70s to the 80s. Can you tell me who Rocky fought in Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Rocky 4? Who were his opponents?
First two was Apollo Creed. Then the next one was it Mr. T? And then the last one was Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, you got their actual names right. Do you remember what I'm going to give you credit, but do you remember what their stage names were?
What again?
What their movie names were?
Oh, let's see. Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed.
Right.
Mr. T was what was Mr. T's name in that show? That I'm missing. Oh yeah, I don't know.
I know his name, but I know his middle name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know that. I know his. Go ahead. I want to step on his question.
I can't remember.
So Rocky 1 and 2 is Apollo Creed.
Don't say it. I want to show off. Oh, go ahead.
All right, I won't say it. And then you want Rocky 4? You want to do Rocky 4 as well, or do you know him?
Rocky 3 was Clubber Lang, whose name was James.
Oh, okay, you got it. Good. Do you remember Rocky?
James Lang, Clubber Lang.
Dang, I didn't know that, Kevin. Very good.
Rocky 4 was Dolph Lundgren, who played.
I remember now. Dang it.
Go ahead.
Drago.
Oh, who, me? Yeah, Ivan Drago.
Ivan Drago.
Actually, Yvonne.
All right, Jason, you get that one because you technically knew who they were. It took you a minute to get the characters, but very cool. Yeah, I know the Rocky movies back and forth, man. I've watched them so many times. But the Creed movies, I can't wrap my mind around the Creed movies.
I love the Creed movies, dude. Dude, we should do Rocky trivia because I could smoke you, dude. I bet you.
I got one question I bet you don't know for Rocky. What are on Rocky 1 and Rocky 2? What are the turtles' names?
Cuff and Link.
Dude, you are good.
That's a fan.
That's a fan right there.
And they made another appearance in Rocky
Balboa. Yep, number 6. They were huge by the time he showed him in that one. That's awesome. What about his dog? Do you remember what his dog's name was?
Buttkiss.
Damn, dude. You got him. Okay, we're going to have to do a Rocky one. Now you got me all inspired. All right, let's go. So Jason got that one right. So technically, Kevin, now it's your turn. I'm going to ask I have 2 more pop reference questions. So But I have to ask you, have you ever seen the 80s movie Better Off Dead?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the question. In 1985, in the movie Better Off Dead, how much money is the paperboy trying to collect from John Cusack?
$2.
$2. What does he say? I want my $2. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome, Kev. All right, it's 5-4. All right, so we're going to go back to BMX. We'll go to 1981. This question's for Jason. In 1981, who made the snake belly tire? Was it Cycle Pro, Tioga, or IRC?
Cycle Pro.
Cycle Pro. Easy, man. That's definitely your wheelhouse. You know that one, huh? Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, snake belly tires are very, very cool. I don't think they get a lot of credit for what they were. I thought they were cool. I rode them. I already know, Kevin.
They're colored, dude. They're colored tires, man.
Not always. You can get them in black. You didn't have to have them.
Okay. A black snake belly is okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You could definitely get them in.
Let's be honest. Nobody rode a black snake belly, dude. It was always blue or red.
I did ride blue ones, but I did have some black ones too.
Are you talking about the sidewall color or the actual tire?
The actual tire.
Because we just had black Cycle Pro snake bellies, and they were significantly lighter than every single tire out there, which made you, I mean, just winning was more important than that goofy tan sidewall.
True. Yeah, the snake bellies were pretty trick though for the time, right?
For the time, yeah.
So it's 5-4. Kevin, you have a slight. Wait, did he get 5? Was that his fifth one?
I
think he's.
That's his fifth one. That's tied, 5-5. So now we're going back to Kevin. Kevin, we're going to do BMX for you. Let's do 1984. Okay, in 1984, what fork ad ran in BMX Action magazine coined "Anything else is just a fork"? Was it SE landing gear forks, TRX forks, GT forks, or Answer Pro forks?
Landing gear.
One more time.
Landing gear.
Landing gear. Yeah, you got it. Process of elimination for you, huh? All right, man. That's going to give you the 6-1. Hey, I'm going to say this is the first time we played this game where there's very few steals. You guys are nailing these questions.
Yeah.
So this is like really, really good. This is a good tight race. Okay, so we have one more pop reference question left. Should I give it to Jason?
Let him choose what he wants.
All right, Jason, you want a race question or pop reference?
I'd have to go race. I'm not
going to go race. Okay. This one is going to be a little tricky. Are you ready? In 1981, the price point for the two-fingered Haro grip brake lever was $10.95, $11.95, or $6.95.
I'm going to go 10.
See, $10.95? That's a miss, Kevin. What do you think?
$6.95.
$6.95. I was surprised it was so cheap.
Wow.
Did any of you guys ever run the Haro lever? I had the knockoff one.
Hell yeah. I like them. They're good.
Wait. Which lever? The original where you had to drill out your own aluminum perch and attach it to your regular lever, or the one that was complete, already done?
I think it was already done. The way it was advertised, I can try to show you, because that's a really good question, honestly. But you see the brake lever right there on Brent's bike? That one. That two-fingered lever.
It's too small on my screen to see well.
I don't know if they had to do any sort of customization to that brake lever. Do you remember, Kevin?
Yes.
I never knew that you had to put your own brake lever in the mount.
Yeah, because all I remember is just I only had the Diacomp version. It was a copy of it, so it wasn't the actual Haro one. You know what I mean? I never had one. I thought they looked cool.
Okay, so. Since we're on, was there a long like a dog leg Haro that was like 6 inches long and it was dog leg, and there was a pivot point where you could spin the. Was that an Addict or was that a Haro?
That wasn't Haro, but that was called Hare, Hare, like the rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh, good freaking memory, man. You guys.
And it was
You guys
all
were good.
plastic, and it was a flex monster. Your brakes worked real crappy because the lever would flex like crazy.
And you could spin your brake lever around on the post, right?
Yeah. So if you crashed, it wouldn't break.
With Allen, it went on the bars with little Allen bolts.
Yep.
All right, guys. We have 4 BMX questions left and 1 pop reference. So the score is 6-5. So it looks like Kevin's got a small lead. It's Kevin stole the last one, so this is your chance, Kevin, to kind of pool a little bit. Do you want a pop reference or do you want a race question?
Pop reference.
Ooh.
Who played Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn. Now here's the bonus. What was his history teacher's name?
Mr. Hand.
Oh, jeez. He got to. Man, maybe pop reference is your wheelhouse, dude, and we've been doing BMX.
When we came up with this idea, I told you my wife and I wanted to go on that show, and we were going to smoke everybody.
Oh my goodness! You got. Wait a minute. Let's see. Oh wait. You know what? I still have 2 more pop reference questions I didn't do. No, I got. No, shoot! I have 4 more. I didn't turn the page over. Okay, so we have plenty. We have plenty to go.
I got 2 points on that one, right?
Yeah, you should be 8-5 right now.
Yeah, you're pulling ahead.
Pulling ahead.
Come on, dude. Come on, man.
All right, Jason, do you want BMX or do you want pop reference?
I'll stick with BMX.
Sticking with BMX. Okay, let's see. We did all the 81s, guys, so we're done with that. We'll get that out of there. So I'll go to 1984. Okay, what Hutch rider appeared on the Wheaties box?
Oh, Steve Veltman.
There you go, Steve Veltman. He was
the question of the one contest that I hosted. I asked that question. Remember that, Jason?
Oh, you did ask that?
That's
right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remembered. It just came to me. I didn't see it in the magazine or anything like that. All right, so that gave you, Jason, that gave you a little bit of a bump. Now you're at 6-8, so you're catching up. All right, Kevin, now you got choices. You can do BMX or you can still do pop reference. I got plenty.
Pop culture.
Pop culture. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. Name the first 3 Star Wars movie that were released in order. Now, not all the new crap that came after
I know. A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
I would have accepted Star Wars, and you added New Hope, so that was amazing, dude. That is good job, dude. All right, Kevin's dominating tonight.
I'm trying.
It would be cool if Kevin's internet just went out right now and he. All right, we're going back to Jason. It's still Jason. You're still there's
never count Jason out. He's going to come back.
There's plenty of questions. Plenty of questions. So, all right, Jason, you want to go BMX or you want to do pop culture?
I'll stay with BMX.
You're going to stay with BMX. In 1987, at the ABA Grand Nationals, what 2 AA Pro rivals were battling for the #1 title in 1987?
Oh, 87. Oh, this is later. Okay, let's see. 4, 5, 6.
Very well-known rival.
87 I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if Ronnie was there. I don't know if he's in the title hunt still.
Go with your gut.
But 87 was still the Pete and Ronnie war.
You got it. Yeah. You got it. Stop right there. You got it. So going into the 1987 Grand Nationals, Ronnie Anderson was the defending champion, going against Pete Lonkarovich, who was sitting second in points, but Pete outdid him in 87 and actually won the title.
Yeah.
So that was really good. I was like, you're almost there, dude. Just saying.
And my camera froze, and I missed the whole thing.
Oh,
did you really?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll repeat. Yeah, so the question was, going into the 1987 Grands, what two pros were battling for the #1 title?
It was Ronnie and Pete.
Exactly. And then, so he nailed it. He was just like, he was right there, man. Okay, so that was a good one. But there is a bonus question for you, Jason, since you got that right.
Okay.
True or false? Ronnie Anderson in 1987 was actually racing for a restaurant chain.
I know what restaurant chain. I'm just not sure on the year. But if he was, then yes, Hardee's.
You got it. Yeah, he was racing for Hardee's in 1987. Yeah, that's crazy. I look back at that, and I often wondered, I'm like, why is the national #1 pro racing for Hardee's? And then I realized he had like 09 conflict with the contract and money, and I guess there's a lot more to the story, which I'm not too privy to it. I don't know if you know, Kevin, what would have caused that.
No, I don't know. But for the record, whoever plays in the future, when Danny asks a true or false question, it's always true.
Oh, now we have to mix it up.
You've never asked a false question.
Oh my God, dude, I didn't even realize that. So I'll fix that. All right. So with that being said, that was a good run for Jason. He picked up 2 points. So now all of a sudden it's 8-9. So it's a race again. So he closed the gap considerably on that one. All right. So now it's Kevin. Do you want to go BMX or pop culture? Pop culture. Okay. In 1984, there are 3 of the top songs at the time were titled "When Doves Cry," "What's Love Got to Do with It," and "Footloose." Can you tell me who the artists were for those songs?
Tina Turner, Prince, and Kenny Loggins.
You're a dirty dog, dude. No wonder he wanted me to do pop reference, man. He's nailing every single one of them. All right, Kevin. Very good. 10-8. Going back to Jason. Jason, what do you want to do?
BMX.
Sticking to BMX. All right. In 1987, what famous BMX pro went into the Hall of Fame? Was it Harry Larry, Eddie King, Gary Ellis, or Greg Hill? He was inducted in 1987.
Oh, okay. Wait, I know who it's not, but there's 2 of them that it could be, and I'm between Hill and Leary. But I think Leary went in on the very first year, maybe.
No.
Let him figure it out. Let him figure it out.
At least
he's thinking so hard.
I'm gonna go 87.
That would have been the 3rd year, Jason.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. I don't remember the number year to when it started.
First year was 85.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna go. If it's 87 and the 3rd year, I'm gonna say Hill.
Oh, Kevin, what do you think?
What were my options again?
Okay, in 1987, what famous BMX pro was inducted into the Hall of Fame? Harry Larry, Eddie King, Gary Ellis, or Greg Hill?
It wasn't Ellis. I think Greg Hill was still racing in 87, right? But so was it.
All of them were still racing.
Huh?
All of them were still racing.
Well, yeah, but okay. Leary,
Harry Larry. It was at the 1987 Grand Nationals. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And just a little side note, he actually raced the Honda Super Cup on Friday night, came in 3rd place, and then he raced the Pro Open at the Grands and finished 4th. And the same weekend, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's pretty freaking cool.
yeah.
All right. So anyway, Kevin, that gets you to 11. This is your best game to date, my man.
Ooh,
All right. So,
all I had to do was change the rules.
yeah. Now, okay, gentlemen, we are down to all we have left now is pop culture. We only have 2 questions left. So neither of them actually have bonuses. So we're just going to go for pride now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna go to it's Jason's turn, right?
Yeah.
No, you. Yeah.
No,
Did you steal
I just
Jason?
missed it, and he picked up the bonus.
Yeah.
Or the
I'm
steal.
gonna throw this one to you anyway, Jason, just to make it interesting. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I want you to finish this famous movie line from 1984. Who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
There you go. I told you should have took more pop reference, man.
Well, all his pop culture ones, I didn't know the whole answer, so that's why I stayed away from it.
Oh, all right. I'm going to give you the last one, Jason, because Kevin's got a good lead right now. So you're at 9, so you could make it 10 to 11, which is very respectable. All right. Are you all right with that, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In 1984, in the original Karate Kid movie, Daniel LaRusso did what kick to defeat Johnny Lawrence?
The crane kick.
The crane kick. There you go, dude. All right, man. That's a wrap. 10 to 11, and Kevin is got 2 wins in a row. Oh,
Now 2 and 5.
2 and 5. So what we're planning on doing down the road, Jason, is we're gonna have like a championship of this and try to bring a bunch of you guys on at one time and just go at it and see who can do what. You know, I think that would be really, really fun.
That would be bitching. I wouldn't be a part of it, but that would be bitching.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's all I got.
Let me give you a thank you. Good game. Jason, good game. Well, thank you very much for that, Jason. I appreciate it. Now, there's one more thing that I want to talk about. Thank you very much for people out there that have watched this long. Thank you very much. But have anybody out there ever ran across these kids running around the streets on these e-bikes that look like dirt bikes? I've seen videos. On Instagram, and cops chasing these kids down and arresting them and giving them tickets and all that stuff. Now, I'm not talking about the Sarons, like the ugly ones with no suspension or like that. I'm talking about the ones that look like dirt bikes, electric dirt bikes.
Yeah.
I have my personal opinion, and I was wondering if you guys had your personal opinion. Is it a good thing, a bad thing? Would you want one? Would you want your grandkids to have one, Jason?
They already do, and
They already do.
I like it. I think it is cool. I think if I had ridden that in '78, I would have never rode BMX, because why pedal at that point?
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, every time I see one of these kids riding down the street, I go by, honk, I go, yeah, dude, go for it, man. Like they're all, yeah, dude. Like I'm sure they catch so much shit from other parents of get off the street. You know, the cops don't like him. But dude, if I had that thing when I was a kid, it would have been on, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, I never would have been home. I mean, I was never home to begin with, but if I had one of those electric e-bikes, it would have been great, dude. And so I'm jealous of these kids. I wish. Sometimes I want one myself, even now.
Yes, I want one.
What about you, Danny? You're probably the guy that pulls over and tells him, get off the street.
I have my opinion on them, and before I comment on those, I don't have an issue with electric bikes that much. My issue is with the wheelie kids that like to kind of like dodge the cars. That part I think is insane. I'm like, hey, it's awesome you can do those wheelies. It's super impressive. Just don't try to play chicken with a bus or a car. I don't see the logic in that at all.
I've never seen them on the electric e-bikes go against cars. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I was just making reference to the big bikes. Yeah. But for the e-bikes, getting back to the topic at hand. Now, there's a couple things I could recommend. If you have interest in these motocross style e-bikes, you got to go to Barry Noble's channel. Barry Nobles is vet pro right now, defending champ. He just had surgery on his elbow, so he's not really racing right now. But he does in-depth tests on these things, and the bikes are from Razor. I think Billy Griggs has a lot of input on the design of these e-bikes that look like motocross style bikes. And Barry's even changed out the batteries to increase the horsepower in them and so forth. And they're super impressive. Now, would I want my kids to ride one of those on the streets? No. I'm like, you're going to get killed on that thing. Now, but going back to what Kevin said, though, if I had a motocross style e-bike in the 80s that had a 2-hour range on it, I'd never be home. Yep. I'd have been like riding all over the freaking Bay Area. I would have been stopping at a friend's house. Hey, man, charge my bike because I'm never going to make it back. I would have been everywhere you could think of on these bikes. I think they look super awesome. I would love to have one. I mean, my dad actually has been fabricating these trikes that he makes himself at home. And we were sitting in his patio one day, and he's like, I really want to put an electric motor on one. And he took one of those hoverboards and took it apart and tried to basically make that motor work on the hub. And I told my dad, I go, Dad, they just sell kits for that. We'll just buy the kit. But he's like, no, I want to make it myself. He's like that kind of guy. So yeah, I think there's a huge market for e-bikes. I don't really have anything against them. But like Jason said, going back to what you said, if we had them too soon, would we be doing this? The BMX thing, and I don't know, maybe not as much. And I think that kids really need to get out and pedal and get that exercise because that's super vital to your health. And, if you're always just turning the throttle, you're not going to get anything out of that. So I would say as long as you have a good, healthy balance.
I'm going to push back a little bit because I was BMX was my life, but number 2 was dirt bikes. So I rode dirt bikes and motorcycles pretty frequently. So that didn't discourage me from racing BMX. And I'm sure there are millions or hundreds of thousands of guys out there that actually had dirt bikes, rode dirt bikes, that actually came to BMX from dirt bikes.
True.
So maybe it might affect a little bit, but I still would race BMX, I think. But it would just cause my parents to have one more headache, and they probably didn't want any more headaches with my brother and I.
You have to think of the accessibility to the e-bike too. It's not loud. It's no noise pollution, nothing. You just take it out of your garage and go. And so a motocross bike, you got to go find a place to go ride, so you're not going to get harassed by the cops. E-bike, anytime, man. You just jump on it and go. Right. So there's going to be a significant difference to that. Although I think down the road, I definitely want one. Just so I can go ride it and have fun. I think it'd be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That'd be great, dude.
But that's all I got.
Well, I want to thank Jason from the bottom of my heart, from Danny and myself. Thank you so much for joining me again, bro. You have, just for everybody out there, the first time I talked to Jason, you have the best quote that I've ever had on the podcast, dude, where you said, you know what I'm going to say?
No, I'm not sure, but we had a lot of quotes that came out of that.
Oh my God, Danny! This is by far the funniest. When I said that there was no sandbagging in Hawaii, and then Jason said nobody wanted a sandbag. He goes, "It was better to be the worst expert than the best novice."
The worst expert or the best novice, man.
It's way better to be the worst expert than the worst or the best novice. It was hilarious.
That makes sense. Oh, did we lose him?
It looks like it. I bet you is.
There he is.
Anyway, dude, that's Jason. That's by far my favorite part of any episode, dude. If I could cut that, I'd play that every other week, dude. That's hilarious, dude. When you said that.
Yeah, I love that line. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it not true?
It's very true, man.
Words of wisdom from the Chang Star. Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. And I hope to see you at Dirty Fest, and I hope everything works out for you. Thank you so much. We're going to say goodbye to Jason. Thank you for joining us. Peace out, and we'll see you in Dirty Fest.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jason.
Yeah, Jason. Good seeing you, man. Good episode. Another good episode. I was going to tell you, I did a video earlier this year, and I went on Facebook, and what I did was you were in that video, Kevin. I took everybody's race photos that they had on Facebook and made a montage, and you and Jason were in that. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. So what'd you think, man? How did you like the new format with the pop culture?
Pop culture was off the hook, dude. I love pop culture. Next time get some more music in there. But yeah, dude, that was great, man. That was great. I could see doing just pop culture videos versus
the BMX one,
mixed open or whatever. We had a pro-am, dude.
that was fun. Last night I was sitting down and I was thinking, what am I going to ask? And there's the good thing about the childhood that you and I had, Kevin, even though we didn't know each other, but I bet you it was very similar.
Yeah,
exactly. But being outside, riding your bike all day, just making sure you were back before it got dark. Nobody knew where we were, no cell phones, no social media. It was just I don't know, man. We had like 9 channels we could watch. We didn't have like internet. We didn't have cable. It was just a very freeing time. You know what I mean? And you could find your friends based on where you saw all the bikes stacked up. And I don't know, man. Only thing I wish is that my kids could have experienced what it was like when I was a kid, so that was really fun to do that, man. I really enjoyed that. So thanks for the opportunity.
I have boys and I have nephews. There's no girls in my family, so we pass down all of our bad traits to our children, my brother and I. So they know everything. They remember stuff they remember things that I told them that I forgot that I told them, man. Like the other day, my son goes, he goes, "Hey, do you remember that one time when we were kids, we went to Target and you told us that the toy department was closed?" I go, "No." He goes, "Dude, yeah." He goes, "We wanted to go to the toys." And you said, "Oh, I can't. The toys are closed today." And we believed you. I'm going, "Dude, that sounds like something I would have said." I've been saying is that they remember stuff that I've like, notable things that I've said, similar to the Jolly Rancher comment.
That was so fun.
But anyway, so Danny, you want to let's take a second and tell people what you do. You don't just come on with me. You have your own thing going.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm going to be shooting a video tonight. You can find me on YouTube, Danny Pena BMX Racing. I love going over BMX magazines. That was how it all started. I love looking at old BMX races, whether it's new school, old school, mid school, mash them all together, make a video. And I just love talking about BMX. So anything BMX race related, I'd like to tie it into about a 30-minute video. But yeah, I've been seeing some traction on my channel, especially after teaming up with Kevin. And we've been going at it, for like better half of a year now, trying to get those channels. And Kevin, you were like so close to 100, man, or 1,000. You sneeze, you're going to make it. You're almost there.
As of right now, I have 991.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. I always check. I go, where's he at? I'm at 853 right now, and there was a time where you and I were like just neck and neck, and then you
454 and 455 is
right.
Yeah,
exactly. So between us, I mean, that's like almost 2,000 people that are interested in hearing what we have to say. So I'm super appreciative. I don't ask much, just like and subscribe. You're shocked?
I'm shocked that anybody would want to watch what I have to say, but I have so much fun. Like if people enjoy it, I couldn't be happier, man. And you make my well, I call it our podcast. You make our podcast better. I couldn't do this without you. But
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to get on with you and do this, because it's totally opposite of my own format. So it's something I get to do different. And hopefully we can expand it down the road, man. I mean, we already know we can do some pop culture, so you never know.
and I need you. For if anybody's on YouTube and type in old school BMX, you're gonna see Danny's face on a lot of videos, a lot of reels.
I Googled myself not long ago. I just put Danny Pena and put BMX next to it. Oh my gosh, man! I used to be a ghost. Now I'm just everywhere. You can see all the different videos and things.
I think I posted like 6 shorts with you asking questions on YouTube. So now I think the
I think you're frozen, Kev. He'll come back soon. Now I'm sitting here by myself. Come back, Kevin. I think I lost him. Let's see if he doesn't come back on. There he is. Woo! I was about to close.
I think that's a sign, bro. We need to say goodbye.
All right, man.
Danny, thank you very much for once again. My name is Kevin Wilson. I'm the purveyor, the host of the BMX podcast. If you would like to support my channel, I will never ask for Patreon or anything like that. All I ask is that you check out my website, maybe buy a hat, maybe grab a shirt. You can find me at BMXPERTS.com. If you'd like to join me on the show or join us on the show, you have a show idea, anything like that, you want to reach out to me, you can reach me through my website at www.bmxpodcast.com. And that's it for this week. Every Saturday, we will have a new episode drops. And from Danny and myself, the track is now closed. Peace out, everybody. Thank you.
Later. Bye, Kev.
Let's go eat.
Yes.